up there. We got to do jobs, but education on a state level where we're funding, we have to put, that's our future, that's our student. And I understand where Linda is coming from with her children there. But I'm saying there are better options out there by getting better teachers, you know, in the school system and paying them better and breeding competition. When you have people come out of school, you're saying, hey, we're going to pay your student loans, and now you have, you know, instead of 10 teachers, you got 100 teachers, you know, coming from the job, you know, to teach your children. Now you get to pick who the best is, and so there are options out there for the public school system. We just have to go out there and fight for it and be a voice for, you know, our local school teachers.
Mr. Copeland? The public school system is what you make of it, and I will never back down from that. You know, I teach at Banneker High School, and it has one of the worst reputations out there. This is a graduate of Banneker High School, doing great things in the community. Each and every year, through the organizations that I sponsor, I send no less than 1 or 2 kids to Ivy League schools out of Banneker High School. Jalea right here is a graduate of Banneker High School. Graduated out of Banneker in 3 years. I mean, I'm sorry, out of college in 3 years or 4 years? 3 years. She graduated in 3 years. And all that's done because of what's going on in the classroom, that relationship that the student has with the teacher, and what's going on at home. We take all the responsibility away from what's going on at home and put it on the teacher and at the school. And we have to start having the parents take more responsibility with the child, so you can have more students like this that graduate out of a 4-year university in 3 years, and students that go off to Ivy League schools and graduate in 4 years and go off and do great things. It's not about so specifically what's going on with the school, it's about what's going on, it's a combination of what's going on at the home, the school, and with the teacher itself. So when it comes down to choice, you know, I'm sorry, it might be unpopular for me to say this, but no, we have to start looking and taking the time to go into the schools and nurturing those children or those students so they go on to perform and be successful.
Amen. Okay.
That's a terrific segue for what I wanted to ask, because whether you're charter or public school or not, parents must be involved. It is widely accepted that parental involvement in parent conferences and school activities throughout the country. So my question to you all is, with school volunteerism with parents, parent-teacher organizations, and those types of things, it can strengthen a child's engagement in academics. That's been proven. That said, are there policies that the state can employ that will facilitate this type of parental engagement? Are there any policies, as you, as a state representative in District 63, that you could work on employing to facilitate getting that parent, teacher, child involvement in school? Yes,
okay. To be honest with you, I don't know if you can legislate that. I don't know how you can legislate that the parent actually be mandated to participate, because then what you do, you know, you put them in prison, you put them in jail. I don't know the answer to that. I think the thing is, you know, there are certain things that you can legislate and there are certain things you just can't. And I personally feel that it's going to take all of us going into the community and all of us talking to parents and saying, look, these are the reasons, these are the 101 reasons of why it's important for you to be involved with your child's education and participate in the schools and volunteer and just be a part of the school atmosphere. Because it, without a doubt, breeds success within the child. As far as legislating the parent participate in the school, I don't know. I would say no. I don't think you can do that.
No legislation for parental involvement. Okay. Ms. Pritchett?
I agree. Certain things, yeah, you just can't legislate, but as a parent, you have to lead by example. I just finished my degree in criminal justice. One of my professors is right here. I just graduated on June the 9th.
He supported the other guy.
But he told me I was one of his best students. And we talked a lot over the phone. I had a great time in his class. I really did. This is about 2 years ago. But I graduated with a 3.6 in the midst of having teenage boys and having a full-time campaign and career. And when my children see me doing my Sundays was the day to finish all my homework, and they see, okay, mom got to do homework, mom has to do this. So what we would do in our household is designate time for this is how you do this research. This we have to get on the internet. We have to read this amount of books. We have to do so. The parental piece involves a structure. Right. When I first got into college 25 years ago, my first semester I didn't do so well, although I graduated #1 in my high school class. And the reason why is because I didn't know how to study. And so I teach my children to study, have a highlighter, how to take notes, how to do these different things. And all of that, 25 years later, it made it so much easier for me to have a better performance. And this actually carries on into your professional life, into, you know, into work. So as a parent, you have to set the pace for the children, and you actually have to sit with the children and go over everything they do, as well as communicate with the teachers and be available for the teachers, because as we have jobs and we have our own lives as adults, when the teacher says, I need to talk to you, Ms. Pritchett, I can't say, oh, I can't talk to you because I can't get off, or I have to come, I have to go. And that's one of the things, that's one of the biggest problems that teachers have with parents, is not being able to communicate with them and meet with them and let the child know that they're together.
But your answer to the state cannot
The
legislate.
state cannot legislate that.
Parental engagement. Okay, thank you. Mr. Neighbor?
Of course, as an attorney speaking, no, the state cannot legislate, you know, parental involvement, but we've all heard the saying, it takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a church to raise a village. So you have to have community involvement here. You have to get people involved in the child. My mother's a school teacher, and even though I played football and was pretty good, if I didn't get the books right, that wasn't working, right? And it was very vivid, and a lot of people probably in this room remember Greg, in the middle of a game, my mother got a call from the school, and she was like, he's not playing, and walked out in the middle of the field and pulled me by my face mask while the ref. So, no, your parents have to be involved, you know, and I just say, look, and I look at my mother and say, why would she do that? I was embarrassed, but she was looking out for my best interests, and so having your parents involved, I mean, you can't teach that, you can't, you know, make laws for that. That's just the love, you know, of parents for a child.
Okay, and one thing I just want to say to the three of you, thank you for your answers, but think about not necessarily legislating parental involvement, but what can the state do to encourage that? So think about what we can do to encourage parental involvement. Okay.
I want to jump over to transportation. If you guys don't mind, part of the district, you had mentioned before about C-Tran.
Yes.
A lot of talk about the new influx of people into the district were sent by Atlanta, and C-Tran being wiped out, am I right?
Yes,
Gone. What would you guys do as the representative of this district to bring back C-Tran or do something to put back in transportation? Because for some of the poor residents, that has been almost a non-starter. Mr. Copeland, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor.
All right. First of all, we gotta, you know, work with the Clayton County Board of Commissioners and, you know, get funding down there and see what it's gonna take to get C-Tran up and running right away. I mean, that's a key aspect. We just gotta, you know, get with them and say, hey, we gotta work this out. You know, Clayton County is suffering big time from that, and that's one reason that I'm hearing a lot of people when I'm knocking on doors and going out in the field, that people are saying, hey, the T-Spots, I'm for it because we're getting C-Tran back, and so people really appreciate that service when they had it, and now it's gone. They've said, hey, we want it back. So that's our job, to be the voice of the people.
So you are for the T-Spots?
Well, that's another question you said, but reluctant, yes. And why I say, because I don't think they allocated the money in the projects properly. Everyone knows we have a transportation issue that needs to be solved. When you sit in traffic and it's going to hinder businesses coming, it's a good idea, don't get me wrong, and we need to, you know, do something. And so all intentions are great, but how they allocated money, and especially with South Fulton already paying for Grady, they already paid for Marta, now they got to pay for this. And so people in South Fulton are like, what are we getting out of this deal? You all just keep coming at us. And so I understand that frustration. And then you got the Fayette County Chamber of Commerce for businesses, and they're saying, hey, we're for the T-Spots. So it's mixed, mixed feelings throughout. And so I would say it would be a reluctant yes.
So,
with the T-Spots.
right, I know. So an addendum to the first question, who would be, you answered already, could you guys add your answer, are you for or against the T-Splosh and why? And the first question is those names. Mrs. Pritchett.
I am absolutely for the T-Splosh. The reason why is because in relation to Clayton County and the C-Tran, the Board of Commissioners, well, they had the C-Tran before, it seemed to have worked, but for different reasons it was abolished, and now they're trying to bring it back. But this time, the board, from what I have seen, is they have a definitive plan. They have a very good and well-structured plan. And what the T-SPLOST will do is it will provide to each county that